Hello, how is everybody today? Got it working. Thanks for hanging with me. So, I wanted to come on here and talk a little bit about how much more capable our bodies are than we're believing right now. So, my history is I had stage 4 cancer when I was 20. I was told that I had a couple of weeks to live at 20 years old. And obviously, here I am 20 years later. So that's pretty awesome. I have 4 autoimmune diseases. When I was 35, I had a really aggressive form of Lyme's disease and 3 underlying autoimmune issues that I didn't know I had until that time. So that complicated a lot of things. And then when I had COVID, at the very beginning of this pandemic, I had COVID and I'm sorry, I'm just making sure everybody can hear my sound. So I had COVID. And so what I want to talk about is how incredibly powerful our immune systems can be when we fuel them correctly. Because right now we're all living in fear and victim mode, and we're not understanding like how much we can do to fuel our own immune systems. So I want to talk about that a little bit. I mean, the 2 things that make up our immune system, right, are like how we take care of it and then genetics. And clearly I did not like win the gene pool in the genetics category. So ever since I got that diagnosis of cancer when I was 20 years old, I have changed about a million things in my lifestyle to take care of myself. And then, being 35 and getting Lyme's disease actually has led to a greater form of lifestyle for me because I had these 3 other autoimmune diseases that I didn't know I had. So I've learned how to manage them. So, why I want to talk about this. Number 1, your gut health is like one of the most important things that you can take care of in order to fuel your immune system. And what I mean by that, well, when I go to the grocery store right now, I see people with masks and gloves on, and I don't want to get in debate about whether you think that's right or not. But what I see is they're wearing masks and gloves, and then they're filling their carts with alcohol and potato chips and pizza, and just every inflammatory food that you can think of is what they're filling their carts with, and so that's what they're putting in their bodies. And then they're going home and they're sitting in front of the TV and watching Netflix, and they're really not taking care of their mind either, or they're consuming, a lot of fear-based news articles, and all of that's doing is causing this oxidative stress in the body. It's causing oxidative stress in the body, which releases cortisol, and cortisol is the stress hormone. Cortisol is what allows our bodies to do that fight mechanism. But if it's pumped on and it's turned on all the time, what that can do is it causes breakdown in the body. So the longer that the cortisol is pumping, the longer that we're sitting in isolation full of fear and like spewing our fear all over everybody else, the more toxic our bodies become in this environment. And so we really have so much power on what we're consuming for food and what we're consuming in our minds. And so I just want to speak to that a little bit because we've allowed the media to let us believe that we have zero control over whether we get this virus or not. And while some of us are still going to get it, like I still got it, but I was able to treat it at home with rest and supplements and just taking care of myself. I didn't need to go to the hospital. I didn't need any medical intervention. And then on top of that, the other thing that we forget is people can develop antibodies. Like antibodies can happen, right? So the weeks leading up to me getting COVID, I was with all of my family, my 4 nephews and my brother-in-law and sister-in-law, and my mother-in-law and father-in-law, and then my husband and my oldest son. I was around all of them for 2 weeks. This is like right at the start of it, like right before we really knew. And so every single one of them was exposed to me and my youngest son. We both got it. Every single one of them was exposed to us. So either those family members developed antibodies and were perfectly healthy, or second explanation, back in December, sickness swept through their family. Has COVID been around in the United States longer than we've been led to believe? I don't know if we'll ever know the answer to that unless every single person gets the antibody test. But what I do know is that my husband and my oldest son were around us the entire time. Like, we live in an RV. They were exposed. There was no way we could isolate. There was no way. And neither one of them had a single symptom the whole time. Neither one of them got sick. Neither one of them. So they, like, we can develop antibodies to this, but we have to take care of ourselves. Like, we have to eliminate the outside stressors. We have to eliminate the crap that we're putting, the inflammatory things that we're putting into our body are not contributing to our health. They're not. The crap that we're putting in our mind, like, I have unfriended and unfollowed more people on social media in the last 3 weeks than I have the entire time I've been on social media, because I don't need that. I don't need it in my life. Like, fear doesn't solve anything. Like, fear does not do anything for anyone. And I just I refuse to engage in it. And I refuse to sorry, I just got distracted. I got a comment that I don't understand. But anyway, so as we start to open up, as we start to go out into the world, I know so many people are worried about like a second wave, right? And that's a valid concern, because now we've been locked away and our immune systems haven't been exposed to anything during all this time. But here's what we can do. Here's how we can choose to be in control of what happens going forward, is that we can start taking care of our bodies, and we can start taking care of what we're putting in our minds. We can stop engaging in fear-based media. We can stop engaging in like social media rants and firing one way or another. And I know that a lot of people are super passionate about what they believe. And I totally think it's great to express your beliefs in a positive way. And that's not who I'm speaking to. I'm speaking to the things that I'm seeing where people are just freaking out and, you know, kind of coming, like, we've all seen it, right? We've all seen the cat fights that are happening. And I just am choosing not to engage in that. So let's go back to microbiome, because I missed some things I wanted to talk about when I started talking about fear, because fear is just controlling all of us. So microbiome is the ecology of your gut, and the ecology of your gut is directly influenced by what you're putting into it and what's being consumed by your body, right? So everything that we're doing is either adding to the health of your microbiome or taking away from it. So eat some fruits and vegetables, cut out the junk food, or at least cut down on the junk food. And like, I'm not going to preach from a mountaintop, like I don't ever have pizza or have an alcoholic beverage or have chocolate, because I do those things. I just do them in moderation. I choose to fill my plate with fruits and vegetables and lean and healthy proteins. And I'm gluten-free. I'm mostly dairy-free. So those are just inflammatory foods. That's a super easy way to just increase your microbiome. The second thing you can do, I have an awesome recipe on my website for bone broth. And bone broth is a superfood that will just help build the ecology of your gut, or microbiology of your gut, right? So bone broth is super easy to make. You can make it from any bones that you have lying around. We make it all the time. What we've been doing in quarantine is just buying a full turkey, cooking the whole turkey, and then using all the bones to make bone broth. My son and I drink it every single day because, like I said, we have autoimmune issues. So we're constantly trying to build that microbiome and just continue to be healthy. And there's all these great things that we can be doing. So I encourage you, if you're struggling right now, to just turn off the negativity and even turn off Netflix, or at least cut down on Netflix. Because when we just are sitting, sorry, I've got a piece of hair that's driving me crazy. Okay. When we're just sitting and numbing out, like there was a period of time during this pandemic that I did that too, because when you're in that super stress mode, when we all went into lockdown, I think that's super normal. But there's also a time to get up and turn it off, right? Like after we've dealt with the big feelings, after we've worked through them, we're all going to be okay. Let's just figure out how we can move forward together. Like turn off the TV and figure out how you can do something productive, how we can help somebody else, how we can add value, how we can add greatness to the world and where we're at right now. So thanks so much for tuning in. I hope that you got something out of it. Like I said, on my website, there is great bone broth recipes, and there's other advice on how to go gluten-free if that's something that you're looking to do, and that will definitely reduce the inflammation in your body. So thanks for being here. Have a great day.